俺は忍びだ。
This episode was very simple. Namida has this issue where she pretty much cries and then she kind of destroys everybody, including her teammates. And basically, she's training to fix this. Now, despite the fact that this episode, in terms of its formula, is very simple, I still thought it was quite enjoyable. Obviously, it wasn't a perfect episode, but I personally liked it. Now, when we talk about this episode, we gotta mention episode 49, because episode 49 was the episode that was supposed to, I guess, develop Wasabi and Namida. Now, episode 49 is arguably the worst episode of the Boruto series. The conflict that was introduced in that episode was very forced and it was written horribly. But still, when you compare that episode to this one, you can kind of see that Wasabi's and Namida's relationship got much better. They're not arguing. In fact, their friendship was highlighted multiple times in this episode. I mean, not only their friendship, let's not forget about Sumire, but right now I'm focusing on Wasabi and Namida. Now, these characters, they're not only side characters, they're like side characters, if you get what I mean. We didn't really see their growth throughout all these episodes, but just when you compare episode 49 to this one, you can see that there's some type of development there, and you gotta appreciate that from the Boruto series. Now, one theme that was present throughout this episode was training and hard work. And I'm pretty sure that most OG Naruto fans love this concept. I did like it, and I thought it was very, very enjoyable. And also, this episode had some character progression for Namida. I still think that the crying thing is kind of exaggerated. It's not really too serious. It doesn't really fit too well with the tone of the Boruto series, especially lately, its latest arc and all that. I get it, these couple of episodes after the Mitsuki arc are supposed to be chill or whatever, they focus on different teams and stuff. I guess you can argue that, episodes like this kind of contrast the other characters and the other other elements of Boruto's plot, as a series. But still, it doesn't fit too well, in my opinion. That's the perspective that I have, because it did feel kind of childish in comparison to some other episodes. Yeah, you can have, some crying issues here and there, but I just felt like it was too exaggerated. But still, as I said, I thought the episode was enjoyable. You just gotta accept it for what it is. Everyone's character was good in this episode. I enjoyed Wasabi, I enjoyed Namida. I even enjoyed those little conversations where Sumire and Wasabi couldn't hear anything because of Namida's jutsu. I thought that was funny. So yeah, comedy was fine in this episode as well. And in terms of the actual combat, against those bandits, I forgot how that gang was called, but everything did feel kind of convenient because, Hanabi couldn't do much. Yes, you can argue that Hanabi had to protect the people and their, stuff or whatever. And plus, there were many of these bandits. She didn't really know the full, extent of their powers and stuff, but it still did feel like it was kind of too convenient that she pretty much didn't do anything. I felt like she could have used more of her Byakugan powers in general. Now, and when she was running away in order to find the bandits, she left everybody there, and all of a sudden these guys come from, I don't know, everything just felt a little bit too convenient. So the main point of this episode wasn't the actual fight and the tactical aspect of the fight. It was more so to develop Namida's character and to show us her dedication, I guess. As I said earlier in this video, she did progress in this episode, so that's some fine character development for her. But I don't know. Nue got a little bit bigger because of training, I guess. That also felt a little bit convenient because it was super small all this time, and then all of a sudden it grew so much. But yeah, these are just some small details that I noticed that I don't really like too much. I'm not nitpicking. Why would I nitpick my favorite series? I'm just pointing out, because I know that whenever I talk about some small detail, like from time to time I would have one or two people saying, "Oh, you're nitpicking." That's not logical. Like, why would I nitpick my favorite series? Nobody nitpicks their favorite series, hopefully. And I overall don't really like that term, but yeah, because especially because like my reviews, like I review details a lot, like small details this that most people don't really pay attention to. So yeah, now the rating of this episode is gonna be 7 out of 10. Not the best episode, not the most horrible episode. As I already said a couple of times, I believe I really enjoyed this episode, but I can be subjective, here, and I can't give it like a 9 or something like that because it simply did lack. It didn't have that quality of an episode that gets a 9 out of 10 for me or something like that. But overall, I felt like it was an enjoyable episode, and it gave some screen time to Hanabi's team, to Hanabi herself. I thought she was really likable in this episode, and I really enjoyed the part of the episode where she was training Namida and when she was giving her advice on how to use her water jutsu or whatever. And by the way, Namida's jutsu, the crying, screaming thing, it's overpowered as fuck. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna watch episode 97 right now, and after I finish watching it, I'm gonna review it and put everything together. So yeah, that episode was sweet. I really enjoyed the conclusion of it. And before I start analyzing the episode itself, I just want to mention something that I mentioned multiple times in the past, but I think I talked about it for the last time many months ago, actually. So let me repeat it once again. If you really think about it, Denki is one of the best next-gen characters. If you look at his starting point, which is a kid with no confidence, a kid without any goals, without any motivation or whatever, like, okay, you have that. And then after some time, through meeting Boruto and some other people, he became more confident. He started working hard. He became a ninja, even though he wasn't really talented at anything that's, like he wasn't talented in terms of ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu, or anything, but still he became a ninja. And when you look at all these things, you can kind of notice that his character progression throughout the series was incredible. And, this episode just confirms that. And I loved the interactions between Denki and Shikadai. But first of all, let's start talking about this episode as a whole. This episode, like, I'm straight away, I'm gonna say one thing that I didn't like about it, and that's the only thing that stops me from giving it a 10 out of 10. And it's the fact that all of a sudden, Shikadai isn't skilled enough with the shadow paralysis jutsu, and all of a sudden there's this pressure on him. I mean, I guess you can argue that, the Nara clan, the Lord Enchu, was that his name? Like, all these things weren't explored, and okay, I can accept that. But all of a sudden, he's not skilled enough. I mean, what? Like, in the Chunin exams, he fought Boruto and he beat him. Obviously, Boruto did cheat, so he won, but Shikadai is far from being weak. I just felt like it was kind of forced. Like, okay, in the past couple of missions, it was stated in this episode by Boruto, where he pretty much bullies Shikadai, it was stated that he kind of did this, like, I think 4 missions in a row, but like, I don't know, it just kind of felt forced. And that's one thing that I didn't like about this episode. Maybe if this was kind of hinted at earlier in the series, I would accept it. But all of a sudden, Shikadai's shit at this jutsu, no, I don't accept it. I thought it was very forced. Okay, forced, not very forced. Right, but apart from that, I thought everything else was just brilliant. At the start of the series, Denki's father wanted Denki to become a ninja, I believe, but Denki didn't really want to do it, but then he decided to do it because he wants to do so. I think that was the situation with Denki's character at the start. And, the whole point of that is that he decided to do what he wants. That was the purpose of it, right? And here in this episode, for Shikamaru's sake, Shikadai wanted to do something that wasn't really his wish, I guess. Because he heard the conversation between between Shikamaru and Lord Enchu. I believe Enchu is his name. Sorry if I'm wrong. And correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. But from now on, I'm just gonna call him Lord Enchu, and if I'm not right, fuck it. Anyway, he heard the conversation between Lord Enchu and Shikamaru, and he heard some, I mean, not messed up things, but it wasn't really pleasant to hear something like that. And being the person that he is, he wanted to make it easier for Shikamaru, and he pretty much wanted to quit being a ninja. It was so funny seeing everyone's reactions to this. But when he met Denki, and when he he didn't meet him for the first time. God, I don't know what I'm talking about. But when we saw Denki and Shikadai together, and they were talking about that issue and the company or whatever, you could kind of see that slowly but surely Denki's words were getting to Shikadai, and it's a perfect parallel between two characters. One of them decided to do something that he wants, and then the other one is slowly deciding to do something that's not for his sake. And Denki's role was to teach Shikadai that he's supposed to do what he wants, and he pretty much told him that any situation can be changed. Yeah, that dynamic right there, it was written beautifully. In my opinion, Shikadai even used his wind style, and it was later revealed that he pretty much never used it again for someone's other, like, I don't know what's going on with me, guys. I can't talk. I'm making mistakes every 2 sentences. But basically, it was revealed that he didn't use wind style because of Shikamaru again. And from now on, he's gonna focus on his shadow paralysis jutsu training, and in his wind style training, he even asked Temari to teach him how to properly use the wind style, and he's gonna combine everything, and that's gonna be very beneficial to the Nara clan, which he even stated in front of Lord Enchu. Enchu's reaction at the end was just hilarious. Again, an episode with a simple formula, just like the one before this one. I think that was episode 96, the Sumire episode one. Simple formula, but a great episode. My rating for it would be 8.5. The reason why it's not a 10, I mean, I already said it, because I felt like the entire thing with Shikadai not being strong enough was kind of forced. And but yeah, I mean, everything else was just super enjoyable. As I said, I loved the interactions between Shikadai and Denki. Denki was my favorite part of this episode, and how he taught Shikadai a very important lesson. And if you really think about it, it's all thanks to Boruto, because Boruto was the one who changed Denki at the start of the series. And once again, Denki is one of the best characters of the next generations in terms of like the writing of his character, and how far his character progressed. If you get what I mean. Anyway, that was your boy on Hokage. Twitter, Discord, Instagram, and second channel links are in the description of this video. If you're new to this channel and if you're into the Boruto series, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.